Hey everyone. You're watching Turkish Spotlight Secrets. Settle in, because every twist and whisper is right here. Before we dive deep, hit subscribe and share so you don't miss a beat from Turkish Spotlight Secrets. In the last few days, the mood around Gökberk Yildirim and Cemre Arda has shifted in a way that fans can feel even through a screen. The two rising stars, who have been the subject of endless headlines and carefully watched glances on set, seem to have crawled out of a cold spell. Only for murmurs of a second rupture to crash over social media like a wave. Those close to the couple insist this wobble isn't about drama for the cameras. They say the storm comes from something far more ordinary and exhausting: work. The ruthlessness of stacked call times, overnight shoots, photo sessions at dawn, and the constant buzz of attention have reportedly drained Gökberk, leaving Cemre carrying the weight of a connection that suddenly felt light in her hands. Though both are gearing up for new projects, the atmosphere between them has felt strangely formal lately, even when they've been occupying the same set, breathing the same air, pretending it's all business as usual. One member of the production team says it didn't start this week or last, it's been in the air for far longer, simmering. Between takes, Cemre has been spotted staring down at her phone as if it held answers she wasn't getting, going quiet for hours after a single message, stepping away from the chatter of crew members who normally adore her. In private, friends noticed the same heaviness. At a cafe just days ago, someone who was there swears she exhaled a truth she'd been holding in: "I really thought we'd put everything back in place. Taking this hit again is crushing." The table fell silent. No one wanted to press. They reached for gentle words, but she stared past them, into the kind of silence that arrives when you recognize a feeling you hoped never to see again. Meanwhile, talk around Gökberk is all about pressure. People who know him say he's been pulled in every direction: work obligations, personal expectations, the ceaseless hum of public curiosity. He has apparently confided that he needs a pause to clear his head, to sort through the noise and figure out what pieces still fit. "I need some breathing room to think and straighten a few things out." It's the sort of sentence that, harmless on its own, becomes dynamite when fans repeat it out of context. The rumor mill began to spin. Was this the preface to a goodbye? As news spread, feeds were flooded by hot takes and old photos resurfaced like proof in a case no one fully understands. Some fans begged for patience. Every relationship rides the waves, they argued. Let them step back and return when they're ready. Others were less hopeful. They insisted that this didn't feel like the first time, that the distance had a different coldness to it now. Officially, neither Cemre nor Gökberk has spoken. Unofficially? The whispers say the situation is heavier than people realize. There's talk that Cemre has quietly told those she trusts that getting back to where they were won't come easily this time. The press is waiting. Everyone is waiting. It's the kind of pause that makes a room feel smaller, the silence before a statement that could sway a million opinions. And right now, the future of this love story is a question no one can answer with confidence. Then came the second wave of whispers, like the same rumor in a darker coat. Headlines called it a second split. Insiders insisted the friction wasn't new at all. It had been quietly building behind the scenes, step by careful step, until the only path forward was either to bridge a widening gap or stand, stunned, at the edge of it. The culprit, some say, is a schedule that simply won't bend. He's wrapping one commitment as she begins another, their sleep schedules at war, their energy spent before they ever arrive at the same moment. Those who've seen Cemre recently say she's retreated into herself, her smile harder to summon, her focus fixed on a phone that lights up with messages and remains stubbornly silent when she needs it most. One confession shared in a hush made its way to the glossiest corners of the tabloids. "I thought we were fine," she reportedly told a friend, and then he went quiet again. "Doing this a second time, it's wearing me down." From there, the quiet grew. It seemed intentional. No comments, no soft clarifications, no friendly selfie to assure worried hearts. Cemre was said to have told her inner circle that she needed to step back from everything. "I need space to steady myself. At this pace I can't keep my mind on anything," she confided. Observers noticed how rarely they crossed paths in public lately, even though their worlds still overlap. A shared party here, a mutual friend's dinner there, yet somehow always arriving in different hours, avoiding the same frame. Social media did what it always does, it amplified. Questions turned into trends, and trends hardened into theories. People posted clips of their laughter from months ago, screen-capped interviews full of light and ease. Some declared it a temporary storm. Others read the temperature and claimed the cold had settled in for good. Fuel arrived in the form of sightings. Cemre leaving a restaurant alone, the night air clinging to her expression like a veil. In another part of the city, around the same time, Gökberk tucked into dinner with close friends, low voice, tired smile, the kind of evening where someone might try to coax a friend back into himself. Then came the harshest whisper, the one that stings because it feels believable. Someone close to both of them suggested the heart of the trouble is communication. Messages delayed, calls missed, tone lost in text, explanations promised for tomorrow and forgotten by the time tomorrow arrived. They're at a tipping point, the source said. If this is a second split, it might be the one that actually sticks. Neither party contradicted the rumor, and that silence was read as a drumbeat counting down to something no one wanted to name. The industry reacted as it always does, by lining up reactions, waiting to attach quotes to a headline the second it lands. But still, no statement. Just a slow, patient holding of breath, as if an answer might materialize out of the quiet. And then, a third swell. The entertainment world thrives on repetition, and when a rumor returns wearing a new shade, it feels like confirmation. The notion of a second breakup between Cemre Arda and Gökberk Yildirim burst through again, shaking fans who had just convinced themselves it was noise. The timing has carved deep worry. The whispers arrived so quickly after the first signs of trouble that it raised a more complicated question. Is this simply a rough patch, or the unraveling of something people thought was untouchable? Insiders say that despite sharing a project, Cemre and Gökberk have scarcely been spotted together off-camera in weeks. On set, between scenes, she sits with her thoughts, breathing slowly like a person trying to keep panic from crossing a threshold. Her phone becomes a ritual. Unlock, scan, a pause that might be hope or dread, then the screen goes dark and she stares past it, waiting for a call that takes too long to arrive. One friend claims that not long ago, at a small gathering, Gökberk let his guard slip. Going through this for the second time. I'm not sure how to handle it, he admitted quietly, and the room understood that the weight he was carrying wasn't the kind you can shake off after a weekend. Word spread fast, and once it did, every movement of his took on new meaning. He finished his filming day and went straight home, no detours, no late-night gatherings. He has been scaling back on the public moments, ducking the cameras that once fed his rise, leaning into the privacy that might give him clarity. He has told people close to him that he's worn out by the grind and the glare, and that maybe space is the only honest thing he can ask for right now. The inevitable question surfaced. Is Gökberk pulling away again? As always, timelines filled with proof of both possibilities. There were those who believed time apart can be medicine, pointing to the resilience the couple has shown before. Others insist the rhythm this time is different, that the quiet between them feels like distance carefully maintained rather than time taken to heal. Fans pulled up old interviews, montages of stolen smiles, photos from a summer that feels very far away. Comment sections turned into confessionals. Not like this, one wrote. Let the story we believed in find its way back. But the sightings kept coming. Cemre walking the corridors of a mall alone, face set in a way that suggested she didn't want to be asked how she was. She declined to speak to cameras. Her social feed grew more restrained, the spaces between posts widening into absence. None of it proved anything, and all of it felt like proof. Still, the most arresting part of this saga is not a dramatic confrontation or a public statement, it's what isn't being said. If there is a battle here, it's quiet and internal. Two people adored by millions trying to decide what they want in a room where applause can't reach. Those who know them say Cemre fights for clarity, for plans and promises, for concrete steps. They say Gökberk longs for stillness, for a pause button that lets him hear himself think. neither desire is wrong. But together, they make for a fragile dance. On set, colleagues tread carefully, switching from laughter to softness when either of them walks by. You can feel the crew's protective instinct. These are their stars, but also their friends. Someone joked that entire scenes are being shot in whispers now, as if raising your voice might break something precious. The director calls cut, and Cemre takes a breath before she speaks. Gökberk nods when someone asks if he's okay, and the nod is too quick to hold. In quieter hours, Cemre, according to those closest to her, has drawn up boundaries that didn't exist in their first rough patch. She's told her inner circle she won't rush back into the same patterns and call it love. Getting back to us won't be simple this time, she said, and the line spread because it sounded like a decision as much as a warning. For his part, Gökberk, as others report, is working through days that feel too short to fix everything and nights that are too long to ignore it. What comes next is the question echoing in every comment, every headline waiting in a drafts folder. Maybe it's a message that clears the fog. Maybe it's a photograph that says, without words, we're still here. Or maybe it's acceptance that timing, even between two people who look perfect in the same frame, can be the most stubborn opponent. Until then, those who love their work will keep loving it. Their audience will replay scenes and search for signs, even when none are there. And their friends will stay close, offering quiet company instead of advice. The story isn't over until they say it is, and they haven't spoken, yet. You've been watching Turkish Spotlight Secrets. If you value the stories behind the headlines, subscribe to Turkish Spotlight Secrets and share this video so more fans hear the full picture. We'll be here the moment anything changes.